Hello, 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 honeys and beloveds, and welcome back to the Rose and Honey Homestead. I've missed putting out videos and contents with you guys. I needed to take a break for a couple of weeks to take care of some family matters. But I'm really excited to be back, and I have been happy busy while I've been away, so there's so much to share with you all. Part of which will be mentioned in a little teaser at the end of today's video. I have a really big project I cannot wait to share with you all in the upcoming weeks. But for right now, we need to address this big old mess back here. And today's episode is going to be a back porch makeover. So before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe, turn on your cute little bell notification so you can get updated. This video is actually going to have to be in 2 parts. So you definitely want to make sure you're getting your notifications for when the second part comes up in the next week or 2. Part 1 is getting the space functional and cleaned up, getting it to the bare basics. We're going to be protecting and reinforcing some of the native plants that are already here, such as the lemon balm and the honeysuckle, cleaning up the cracks, and I cannot wait to show you all the amazing deal, the awesome patio furniture haul I did from Target. You're not going to believe how much stuff I got for such a little amount of money. In part 2, it's going to be more accessorizing, making it even bigger, even more grand, even more special with some DIY art projects. This door, this whole back facade, because this faces my backyard and where the big food garden will be. But I really am going to fill this in, and it's going to be more of an artist statement. We're going to do more art here on this back wall. I want art, I want beauty, I want things that are out of the box and a little bit unexpected. So I really like the idea of coming out here and what's just a boring, ordinary utility closet suddenly becomes like some sort of mural art piece. What I'm most excited about in reclaiming this space is that I'm gonna get some privacy back. I love going out in the mornings to have my coffee and just sit and chill with the birds and check in on my plants. And I don't really get a lot of privacy when I'm in the front yard. It's nice. Some days I want to speak to my neighbors and wave, and sometimes I just kind of want to feel like I'm completely alone in the world. As I started to pull stray grass and weeds out of the cracks, I noticed a little surprise. The honeysuckle has dropped new babies. It's honeysuckle that dropped off and rerooted. So guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna repot the honeysuckle. Got another one. This very rich soil is from the leaves and things that have broken down since the winter. So simply just shoveling it, putting it off to the side so it can keep feeding the honeysuckle vines and the lemon balm. So last season was my first time working with landscape fabric, and I wasn't really impressed. It did keep out some of the weeds, but not nearly as much as I would have liked or needed to have happened. So this year I'm working with plastic, which actually turns out to be a lot cheaper. I did not do a whole lot of pre-planning or complicated methods for how to lay out this plastic. I simply rolled it out, eyeballed about how much I would need, and cut it as I went along to fit my space. I don't know that I would use plastic where I want to have food that I'm going to eat because I would be worried about chemicals leaching. However, I am using it for creating my permanent pathways that I want to weave in and out of my garden space. If you're considering plastic, you can find it in the paint section at your hardware store. I then just took some nails I already had that are about 2 inches in length and pressed it down to secure the plastic. Once the plastic is laid, the final step is going to be putting wood chips or some kind of gravel on top. All right, so on this side, I wanted to show you guys, because in my particular vision of what's going to happen with the homestead, I want to find a balance between getting the aesthetic that I want with things being a certain degree of clean and tidy and presenting, while also honoring wild and indigenous plants that are edible and or medicinal. So for instance, this is one, and she's growing here and she's doing her thing. So what I did was I just found where her root base was, okay? And then rather than take the plastic all the way over, I folded it in. So that way she can continue to thrive and grow, but all the extra stuff that I don't necessarily want or won't be using will come in. So I'm gonna keep her folded over here until the wood chips are laid down. And same thing over here, because there's plantain leaf. So I laid this back rather than taking this piece of the tarp and going all the way over and covering up the plantain, because I want the plantain to grow and thrive. It's this kind of stuff underneath this horrible Bermuda grass that is growing that I don't want to come in. So I'm gonna continue to be mindful like this where it's reasonable or makes sense throughout my entire yard. Most of this is lemon balm. I brought the original plant to the yard, but it was planted nowhere near here. And lemon balm just keeps spreading and spreading and growing and growing. And of course, I'm gonna let it. It comes back every year. Lemon balm is wonderful. I use it all season long. Okay, so I just had an idea while I'm cleaning up. I bought these creeping thyme seeds at the beginning of the season. And I thought I was gonna put them in one place. I ended up putting wildflowers there. I tried starting them in a tray. They don't seem like they're gonna wanna cooperate over there. And I'm looking at this dirt and soil. So if other things can grow here, why not my creeping thyme? I think we're gonna try creeping thyme seeds in these cracks. I think that's what's gonna happen. Aside from thyme being delicious to cook with and a cacophony of other medicinal health benefits, it can also be a grass replacer. It stays low to the ground. It gets these beautiful flowers on it. So if you want to replace a little patch of grass, why not try thyme or even red clover? The next step to tackle is the honeysuckle. The honeysuckle was gifted by the forces of nature. It just appeared one season along my gate, and I was super excited then. I get super excited every spring when I see how much it's grown. And I want it to continue to grow. However, I do need to plan out for the future, and the plan is to remove the fence I have right now, which is chain link, and replace it with a privacy fence. And I want to do that without losing my honeysuckle, which has made its home on my chain link fence. So the start of that process is to take this wooden trellis, really cheap, simple. You just stick it through a connector piece and you can stick it in the ground and it's ready to go. So I'm taking the honeysuckle and I'm going to start training it to come off of the fence and to start creeping around this 5-post trellis. I think she looks pretty good. It looks like a big bush and bundle, but these will keep growing this summer and vining, and I'll just keep gradually training them around the trellis. But we have the idea now, and we've pulled a lot of them off of the longer parts of the fence. This is a mini little plant haul. I didn't go too crazy this time, but I got some hostas, a couple of African violets, and some rosemary. If you're new to repotting plants, definitely go check out my front porch makeover video. And there's a good section in there about how I repotted some old hostas that I inherited from my grandmother, and along with some other plants. I'm just trimming off some of the ends on the plants that got a little bit crispy and brown from the heat, just to make sure it's not pulling energy and that they stay vibrant and healthy for the rest of the season. Rosemary is something you can find everywhere around my home. I absolutely love it, not just for the culinary and medicinal benefits, but the topical benefits as well. Infusing fresh rosemary in a base carrier oil like an olive oil does amazing things for your hair growth and for your skin. I have a couple of family recipes that me and mommy perfected that we use for our hair and skin care, and it's incredible. So it's definitely a staple here. All of the hard work and heavy lifting is done. So it is officially time for the Target haul reveal, and you can see all of the pieces that I got. I actually went to Target on this day on a whim. I was just following my heart, and I'm so glad I did because everything had been marked from 50 all the way up to 70% off. I came away with the area rug, the table, 2 chairs, 2 lanterns, and 2 outdoor pillows. The regular price for all of this would have been somewhere between the high 200s to maybe $300. I got everything for 70 bucks. In just a couple of hours, I was able to transform my neglected back porch patio into what I'm sure is going to end up being one of my favorite spots in the garden. The giant maple gives an abundance of shade, making this a beautiful place to be in the mornings during the hot summer months. And the chimney is going to provide some much needed warmth during those beautiful fall and winter evenings. Remember to like and subscribe and turn on your cute little bell notification so that way you can know when part 2 comes out, where I will be doing some DIY and art projects, including this succulent planter that I made from some upcycled souvenir pieces and clearance succulents. Until next time, beloveds, please stay blessed and grow in peace. It's the teaser I promised you. Coming soon, fall 2022.